Hi,
Oh,
welcome, your moons.
yes. Here we are.
Yeah,
Let's up in the shadows,
this week,
undercurrent energies. We're just speaking on.
we
Mhm.
have a good topic we want to discuss today, which is how is the good part being, how is a good person being, I guess, mean or not nice when they're being good? Like, how can a good person be seen as bad? Um, in the goodness, I guess, right?
Mm, mm,
And the blind spot to that, basically.
mm.
And by the good person, we're basically talking about the positive, expanded, more knowledgeable, open kind of person that wants to do good, that wants to be good, and that is knowledgeable and that is aware. How can that kind of person like still end up hurting um others? Yeah, that's it.
Mm. Mhm.
And yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So I guess from the good person's mind, you're always thinking, I'm doing this for a good reason.
Hmm. And they are.
I feel
That's
definitely,
true.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But somewhere there is something that they're not aware of fully.
Yeah. Like they are fully aware. I mean, we can even talk about ourselves. Like we consider ourselves pretty aware, good people.
Aware-ish.
Uh-huh. And
I mean,
like,
there's always gonna be a relationship wherever you are
mm-hmm,
from with your awareness and unawareness.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So true.
There's never an end to that.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
like I can say for myself personally, like I consider myself an aware person. I consider myself a good person. I consider myself a nice person. I consider myself a thoughtful person, like, and live from that perspective. Um, so like, how can I end up hurting somebody, even with the awareness that I have?
Mhm.
And how can I get blindsided in hurting somebody else by being so aware? Um, And that was kind of like, I guess, I don't know, just another fascinating
Mm.
thought to explore today.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because I can say from living from this perspective of the good person, let's say, um, like I can see how if you live too much on that side of being so used to the good, of
Yeah.
being the good and always the good and always being the right one and always being the aware one and always being, all of that. It is good, but I could also see how hurtful like a person can get if, you know, they get used to that lifestyle, and then um you get, I don't know, someone basically hurts, or you end up realizing you hurt somebody.
Hmm.
And it's almost like,
Yeah.
how can I hurt you? I'm already
Yeah.
aware.
But
I
yeah.
shouldn't be the one hurting you. I
Yeah.
Maybe it's not me, the one that's hurting you. Maybe it's something else. It can't be me that's hurting you. Like, it's easy
Mhm.
to take on, or you can easily take on that perspective because you're so used to it. Feels like a luxurious life or something like that.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like there's a threat to the self-concept
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
good. But it's interesting when, when you're saying, I see myself as a good person
Mm-hmm.
and mindful and considerate.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
And
it's
when you get
interesting you're
so,
talking about that
yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, I see, of course, it's important to have that sense of like,
Oh.
I know my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but somehow I feel like for myself, I don't I don't know if this is how I would describe myself if I were to be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good person and
Uh-huh.
like believe that because I'm like
Mm-hmm.
equally there's like, and I'm also not.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In according to that definition, I'm like, and I'm also very not, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But how easy is it to live the part of you that is not?
oh
It's
no. See,
difficult.
that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why if someone projects something to you that makes you think like, oh, I'm not a good person, they don't think I'm a good person, it's such
You're right.
a destabilizing experience to your
Mm-hmm.
own self-concept.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
someone gets hurt by you and what they're thinking about you, not
Yeah.
as a good person?
Yeah. It's that.
Like, how do you live with that discrepancy or that
Mm-hmm.
tension, that conflict,
Mm-hmm.
this disagreement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's about owning all levels, owning and integrating the part of you that is, yeah, I am aware. I am a good person. I am all that. Yes, I'm
It's my
also.
intention to keep being more aware.
Mhm,
Yeah.
uh-huh. But
Uh-huh.
also at the same time, it's like, but also I'm also a beginner. I'm also, I don't know. And I'm also can mess up. And I could also be the intermediate awareness part and owning that part of, like the part that's right in between. And it's basically really owning the awareness in you, the unawareness in you. Yeah, like you said, it's just being aware that, like, so being consciously aware that you are all of these things,
Mhm.
not just I'm only aware and I am that expanded person.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's about
Yeah.
living with all three.
All three.
Awareness, like that's all equally you.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
those processes are happening all concurrently. The
Mm-hmm.
part of you that doesn't know and is in the process of knowing.
Mm-hmm. And the parts that
The
kind of
part
get
of,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the part of you that has, yeah, kind of gets in the part of you that's been through this many times
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and understands the dynamics, the energetics
Yeah. Yeah.
to work it.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
But I understand, like, even through the process of healing,
Yeah.
you're so much in pain. So the journey is all about empowering yourself, and feeling really good about, oh my God, I am a good person. I am like going to be good to me and I am going to be good to others. And I see the oneness and I see the connection. And so then when you get to that place, it's like, oh, okay, but it doesn't end there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just
Because
it's
when you
like,
really get there, everyone is you. So if you are this aware person, how do you like connect with others? Because if you really want to surrender to that belief of oneness, everything is you.
mhm.
But if you are this aware person that is living this aware life and you're like happy and all, and you bump into someone, or I don't know, or in life, people, and yeah, I mean, I know Teal talks about the oneness of like seeing the oneness from like from certain perspective, but it's also good to see the separation as well too. And I
Yeah, both those
agree with
perspectives.
that. Yeah. But there's something also I think you can add on to the oneness of, I don't know, I want to like process this organically with you. Like if you are aware and you're used to that lifestyle now, you created that safety. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like, okay. And then from there, it's about learning the process of owning all three, the not aware, the intermediate awareness, and then the advanced awareness of you as one.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like you
And what is
said, it
the,
coexists at the same time.
they all coexist at the same time. And so, how is the advanced one relationship to the beginner,
Mm-hmm.
intermediate relationship to the beginner,
Mm-hmm.
and what's the thing that's like lubricating all three to be in
Mm-hmm.
all three phases or parts of you to be
Integrated.
integrating? Because each part has a different kind of wisdom
Mm-hmm.
inside
And
of,
they're all
you
true.
know, and they're all true and
Yeah.
valid,
And
and
valid.
they're all actually of equal importance.
Uh-huh.
You can't have the master without the one that's the beginner. Like
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
need,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Feel like every person can be that perspective of the aware one and not the aware one. And like, yeah, yeah.
So actually, we need to open up the communication channels between each and to see each aspect, voice, part of you as equally important
Mm-hmm.
and therefore valued and honored,
Mm-hmm.
respected, revered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this way, there is no, yes, I believe there is a refinement of wisdom that comes from that, but that each part is an integral part of,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that awareness.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so it's less of a, I yeah, there is a hierarchy, but it's also non-hierarchical. It's equal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, so when you
The
said,
hierarchy, but it's not better.
yeah,
It doesn't mean better.
yeah. And then the theme of that was, okay, so then how does the one that is aware and the one that is not aware, they're both coming from this space of truth.
Mhm.
They're both truth. And when you really understand both, they're both right in their personal truth.
Mhm.
But then it's not in alignment then.
Mhm.
Like they're both right, but it's not in alignment. So how do you
Mhm.
get both parts that are feeling true, but they can't be in
Equally.
alignment with their beliefs about each other?
Yeah.
And that was the
Oh
theme
my God. I
of the
think that this is
energies.
the integration work that's just so present happening on so many
Mm-hmm.
different
Mm-hmm.
realms
Yeah.
currently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Witnessed that. I
stop
witnessed that.
ignoring each other? too. Like if they're both parts are you, both parts exist in the collective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do we integrate that,
Yeah.
these polarities?
Yeah. And it's really about, I mean, in the work that we do, it's just, okay, first is understanding the individual self, like totally understanding the individual first from opposite, like parts. And then from there, it's basically recognizing like, oh, like it was a fragment of each other, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But then the one that became aware is used to his lifestyle that when there's a shadow that crops up that feels like it's so stagnant, um, then like the part that's aware isn't about um, it isn't about trying to change it, trying to fix it, trying to say, oh, I already know what you need. It's like, yeah, it is aware. It is aware of what it needs. It can clearly see it because the one that's aware has been there, done that. It already knows. But then you can't go in there with this mindset of, oh, I'm gonna fix you. Um, I already know what it is. So just learn from me or, take my steps, follow my steps. Because the one that is not aware is feeling stuck and it's feeling stuck about themselves. So it will feel like, well, you've done it, you've been there, but I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. So then the one that's aware how it's not being positive is um, the one that's aware is not meeting and seeing through the eyes of the one that's not aware.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Oh,
And that,
yeah. Oh my God, this is a block. I
yeah,
feel a block there.
yeah. And that was the collective of shadow this week, of integration this week, which was like, how do you get this part to like see this one? Now, how do you get this one to see this one? Um, and it's work. At first, it's challenging because this one is like everyone's a fake, even the good people, even the genuine nice ones. They say they're there, and then and if I still am myself, I'm still here, not like stuck. It's like, well, I tried my best, like you're the one that's there, so goodbye. And it wears out. The patient wears out of holding space with this one. So now this part sees the aware one as like, you can't really be there for me. You just saying you're going to be there. Or you say, join my process. Or you say, this will help. Or you say, whatever, whatever, whatever. But it feels like just surface. Yeah. But then when this part says that about this, the awareness gets offended because it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. But it's true. In some senses, it's not. I mean, I'm not saying like all energy, but like the ones that are like really aware of themselves, it's like, no, they're generally wanting to help.
So
And
what is the block that's preventing this true understanding of the aware one into the reality of the unaware one?
the one that's aware, acknowledging of how I am hurting you,
Mm.
like really coming down from its lifestyle to become one with this, to see through their eyes, to feel through their
Mhm.
eyes, to be like, oh my God, I see how I'm hurting you. I thought I was doing all these good things for you. But in reality, it's just making this part feel like it can't catch up. I'm not there. And like, I feel like I have to just surrender and just try to be you to some degree or whatnot.
Mm.
But it's
Mhm.
interesting that everyone that was going through this awareness integration all went into the same room. They all entered the same room from different perspectives,
Mhm.
from different experience, but all entered the same room and
Same room of
tried
like, I
the
can't
same
understand you.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, like I can't sink into really receiving what you're really feeling, the opposite part,
yeah.
feelings
Like
and
it's like,
perspective.
yeah, like, oh, it's not real. It's not real. It doesn't work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, trying to be more aware like you isn't working.
Um, like
What
it
doesn't
feels like a force. Feels like a
mm.
force. But this is the self within the self. The self that is,
Yeah.
it is aware versus the self that is not aware.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because because the self in you, there is a part that is more aware and there is a shadow part that
Yeah.
is not aware. And the one
Yeah.
that's self-aware is going to be like, I know what's best for us. This is good for
Mm.
us.
Oh my God.
I'm going to
Yeah.
be there for you.
Mm. Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
just follow me. You are safe with me. Just
Yeah.
do as I say and you'll
Do
be
as I say.
relaxed.
Just like, just you, just shut up, stop complaining.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm,
know what you need to
mm-hmm. Like
shut
I've
you
been
up.
through that. Like I know, trust me. Let's go.
Yeah. But it's a very different quality of relationship when you are really meeting
Mm-hmm,
your invisible part
mm-hmm.
and not being there to preach to it,
Yeah.
but like really like, no, I'm here to receive you. I'm here to have a transformation of me
Mm-hmm,
through my relationship with you.
mm-hmm.
It's a humbling and it's like a coming in and down and like
Yeah.
an openness and a receptivity and a
Yeah.
listening quality.
Yeah.
Not like, okay, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
It's like confidence or
yeah.
like
And
assumption.
yeah. And then and then the part of the self within every one of us that is the part that's not aware is like what it can do to help integrate is to be authentically honest and open without being disrespectful or without like creating war while telling the truth of like I push you away. Like this is the truth, I push you away. This is the truth, I push you away. It's like this is the truth
Oh,
and I want to work it out.
yeah. I just can't help like this is so I feel like also the energy of like all throughout the pandemic
Mhm.
and just what's been happening in the collective with just so much of this like polarity war of
Yeah,
like, no, I know the truth. No, I know the truth.
yeah. Wait, tell me
And
a little bit more about that because I know you've been having a lot of awareness around.
yeah, just like, so much division about in the politics
Mhm.
and about
But
just
especially like
disagreement.
you had a lot of awareness towards like the whole COVID thing of like I'm aware of this, I'm aware of this, and they're
Mhm.
opposite
And
beliefs.
they're opposite beliefs.
Yeah, yeah,
Huh?
and you could,
And
yeah,
that like not there not being a place where both of those things could coexist.
mm-hmm,
It's either you're right or I'm wrong
mm-hmm,
or I'm wrong, you're just
mm-hmm,
so much of that and it's just literally like this bifurcation of reality, just living in a different
yeah,
reality and this causing so much separation and isolation, loneliness,
mm-hmm,
a lot of anger and resentment and this feeling of complete like disunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how I feel like that created maybe it's more like the pandemic times amplified a relationship we have with
Within ourselves.
ourselves,
Mhm.
of these parts of like,
Yep.
I know what's right
Mhm.
versus
But
I am.
yeah.
I just am.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not going to believe you because that's not what I think.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Uh-huh.
no, I am right. It's like, but I
Yeah.
don't want to believe you because that's not how I feel. It's
Yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
but you should get to this state. And it's like, but that's
Yeah.
not how like,
Yeah.
I don't feel safe to go there. It's just
Mhm,
this
mhm.
like
Yeah.
constant, like,
Yeah.
follow me, but
Yeah.
I don't want to,
No,
I
I don't
can't,
trust
or
you. I
yeah,
don't. Yeah.
it's like all about the safety stuff.
In conclusion, everyone's nervous system is going crazy and no one's feeling safe.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, staying in your own bubble of what you believe, how is that, can that sustain the world? I don't know. These are big
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
But I feel like it has to do with this space internally within the self of this like
Being that,
non integrated self,
yeah. Yeah.
one part being against the other.
Hmm. Yeah. Not being
But you
against
know
each
what's
other.
interesting through this is that I think is underlying it is there is a common feeling shared amidst all of this, no matter what you believe.
Hmm. Hmm. And I also feel like it's okay to even say like, that's, like if you find a part that feels so resistant, right, to you,
Mhm,
of like, oh,
mhm,
it's hard for me to see that other part. It's just so hard for me to see that other part and to join that other
mhm,
part. It's not also about trying to force yourself because you know the right answer of like, I should get there, I should get there, and force it upon yourself to see that part. Because if you're trying
mhm,
to see that part because you know that's the right thing to do, and from that resistance point to surrender to see yourself in that part, like
mhm, mhm,
it doesn't really work either.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does take the part that's like, okay, no, I genuinely want to surrender to see that part. I may not like it, but yeah, like the genuineness of wanting to go there and see that part. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and it's really trippy because what's reflected on the outside is really what is on the inside.
Mhm. Yeah.
Take care of that and define that on the inside. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
really shifts. But again, I think it is like even the aware part, not being scared or nervous about the one that's not aware, and the one that's not
Mhm.
aware also feeling safe and
Yeah, that there has to
dignified.
be an established space
Yeah,
between them. Mhm.
to feel safe in being themselves and how they feel and having every
Yeah,
right to be themselves, even like they don't have to force themselves to feel good, to feel good. Yeah.
I just see there's so much of this dynamic constantly being worked out in, with my relationship, partner relationship, and what's been happening with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um,
Because it is.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead. What did you say?
Yeah, like this integration of opposites of some kind of differing positions on things,
Mm-hmm.
like a different point of sensitivity that each person holds.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, um, everyone has a different sore point of that, how that wound shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what you said.
Yeah. It's like for me, that personally, like in my relationship, it shows up as when I feel like physical chaos in this space,
Mm-hmm.
like stuff. So that signifies to me, oh, this feels like something uncared for.
Mm,
Whereas with my partner, like being too everything straight edge and perfect and sterile and neat is like imprisoning.
mm,
And so it's a different form of a wound for him with like stuff and just wanting things. It's more freedom to like let things be naturally, I don't know, more
yeah.
comfortable with chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a different form of sensitivity that formed that inclination to feel like this is healing for me now. But it's like where when those perspectives meet, hmm and how do you like, but at the core place, I feel like we're both in agreement of something being painful, something means something painful.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we each have a different kind of like medicine for our own personal wound.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then when they meet together and they're in contradiction,
Mm-hmm.
and so how do I be able to like understand
Mm-hmm.
where he's coming from with that, the meaning ascribed to that, and
Yeah.
then like let both sides be acknowledged when there is like a pain eruption that happens from that conflict.
And it can be seen when you really bring these two opposites together to see each other of like there really is a solution where you can create safety there. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
So even with a person, let's say you are friends and then you guys are no longer friends, or if you run into somebody and I don't know, and then somehow there's a fallout, or it, like it gets to the place where like you could end up working it out together, or you could end up separating. But even in that separation, there is no war
mm-hmm.
feeling state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even in that like um different viewpoints and therefore having to separate, there is no, it's not left with the separation of, oh,
Mm-hmm.
good riddance.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
more and the separation of like,
Both.
I, yeah, like I truly wish you the best. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like wanting the best for the other person as if it's a part of yourself, like caring
exactly.
for that best interest, if
Yeah,
that is, yeah,
yeah.
whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think, I guess the overall, I guess, conversation today is to realize that, like, yeah, a person who is very aware and positive and good and nice and, you know, all of that, like, you like have to remember that, like, you can also create a blind spot that can hurt others if, um, like, you don't embrace, um, the part of yourself that is also not aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
because you're aware and it feels like everyone else is a problem, then you kind of isolate yourself too,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is not part of oneness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's not to force yourself. it's tricky, but it's not to
Mm.
force yourself because of this
No, I think
loneliness to be like, okay, so I'm doing the wrong thing, so I'm supposed to like
mm,
connect and still be with people even if it doesn't feel good because I'm aware. It's not that either.
yeah. It's not an I think it's an inner awareness thing.
Yeah, yeah. And it really does feel
So,
like, you know how like
yes.
when you learn how to dance, you first learn you literally learn step by step so you
Mhm,
don't trip over yourself. But
mhm,
once you get the basic foundation of those steps and you feel really comfortable in those steps, you just
mhm,
kind of dance with your foot movement without really like having to consider, oh, did I make the right move or whatnot? You just kind of free flow wherever you want to, like, you take those steps wherever it leads you. It
mhm,
does kind of feel like that.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Like this whole healing process is a personal dance step.
mm,
You just have to get really good at like feeling comfortable dancing to your flow.
mm,
Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
mm. Yeah.
But the
Mhm,
key is you can still find resolution
mhm,
with the party that is aware and the party that is not aware,
mhm, mhm.
be on the same page and to equally learn from each other, not only
Yeah,
the part that's aware.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the parent-child relationship. The parent has just
Yeah.
that the child needs the guidance of the parent,
Oh my God,
It-
I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. It's not a one directional learning.
Hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. I feel
Wow.
feels
Yeah. Well,
great.
thank you for this conversation.
Yeah. Likewise.
Mhm.
Hey, see you next week.
And thanks.
Bye.